Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'll request all the participants to please keep their audio and video off throughout the session in order to avoid any kind of disruption. Also, please do not share your screen in between. It creates a lot of distraction for the speakers. So, hello everyone, and welcome to today's international webinar on Work from Home, the New Normal. I hope all of you are safe and healthy. I am Dr. Smariki Patnaik, and I'll be the moderator for this session. I work here as an assistant professor at ASBM University, and I'm really very excited to be hosting this session today. I am very pleased to introduce you to the eminent speakers for this session. First, we have with us today Mr. Dilip Wadhwani. He is currently President Sales Client Services at Ceasefire. For last 30 years, he is into direct selling across positions and industries. He has approximately 10 years of experience in office automation and balance in fire and safety industry. He is associated with Ceasefire for more than 25 years and had joined the organization at branch level and rose in positions and responsibilities. He is in fact has created the whole West region team from scratch. He has also created a new division, the kitchen suppression system, with a new technology of water mist. He, in fact, after taking charge of his current assignment 3 years back, has been able to double the turnover. We welcome you, sir. We,
Thank you so much.
we also have with us Mr. Sanjay Rath. Mr. Rath brings in plethora of experiences from over 2.5 decades of working in multiple organizations donning multiple roles. He demonstrates a holistic understanding of the human element at work through his experience of diverse mix of professional roles across human resource management, project management, e-governance consulting, and advertising and marketing through various engagements and assignments. Mr. Sanjay strongly believes in an ethical and value-based approach to solutions and interventions. He is currently working as Senior Director HR at Gainsight. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Smaraki.
Last but not the least, we have with us Mr. Sushil Amitabh Swine. He is currently working with the government banking regulator of UAE. He has over 18 years of industry experience in banking and financial services, spanning across automation, digital transformation, IT consulting, program and portfolio management, and fintech, etc. He has also done his MBA from Pune University and has a PG diploma certificate in international business and strategic management from Warwick University. Further, he is PMP and CBAP certified. We welcome you, Mr. Susin. We are really fortunate and elated to have
Thank
with
you,
us.
Smariki. Thank you.
We are really fortunate and very elated to have with us such eminent speakers today. I again welcome all of you. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. We would really love to hear from our participants during the presentation. So if you have any questions during the presentation, please do send them to us through the chat box. I'll bring them up once all the presenters have shared their views and opinions. Thank you. Work from home, a modern work approach enabled through internet and mobility, wherein, irrespective of the physical location of an individual, work can be done. Work from home is also known as working remotely or telecommuting, which implies that the employee is working from a remote location, usually home. Now, getting ready to go to the office each morning, scrambling for the car keys, booking an Ola or Uber, or rushing to catch the metro seems like a dream now. Everything has changed almost overnight with the call for a complete lockdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Life was thrown out of gear and social distancing became the new norm. Indians and peoples across the world are now getting used to catching up with friends and relatives over video calls, standing a few feet apart from each other when at the grocery stores or even while chatting with the neighbors. The biggest change for many has been the concept of working from home. Almost the entire workforce of the country is doing that now. Never has the world seen an exercise of this magnitude. Before the pandemic, many people used to talk about flexibility, especially at the IT organizations, has a work from home policy. So, as a policy, it always existed within the organization. But it's time now to really look at a remote work program because this is here to stay for a considerable amount of time. Through WFH, it was slowly gaining very much popularity because of the freedom and the flexibility that comes with it. However, when the lockdowns were introduced, the shift to remote working was sudden and very sweeping. Lockdowns accelerated the shift to flexible working in a way that had previously seemed impossible. It enabled many companies to remain productive and keep themselves relevant. Roles like IT, management, designing, media, it all continued to work with the WFH option. In fact, according to a recent article published in TOI dated 8 September 2020, after work from home, the Kolkatans keep work from resorts trending. A section of Kolkatans is now moving out of home with families and laptops for short stays at resorts in the city and the outskirts, contributing to the growing trend of work from resorts, or basically they are known as work staycation. Considering this as a brief background set on the topic, I would like to request our first panel member today, Mr. Dilip Wadhwani, to share his views on the topic. Please, sir.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for joining in this very happening and interesting subject. I think we are now 7 months into this supposedly work from home syndrome, which has come out of the blue. Before the work from home syndrome, I had another thought when this happened. So I have just put it in one or two slides, which I will just share and request you to share the slide.
Sir. Yes, I'm just sharing.
So before we actually got into home and when it was the first lockdown, I would like the first slide.
So the slide is visible to you, sir?
Yeah, I need the first slide only as of now.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so I have just put my thought in what I mean. We can call it pandemic, we can call it various name, but somehow I felt that it is a very big pause, and that's the reason there is this picture of pause button, and then there is this virus type of symbol. I think from lockdown 1, lockdown 2, we all have come to a pause. There is an inaction, there is a different type of behavior, there is different type of thoughts which come across here. I live in Mumbai, and I've been living in Mumbai from the age of 5. Believe me, I have seen a lot of these things happening as far as whether it's a health crisis or there is a bomb blast, there is a riot, and whether there is a Kasab who had taken Bombay to ransom. And all through my adult life, I have seen many ups and downs. Every 5 years, we have a Mumbai which is underwater, including every month means everybody goes underwater. So we always have come out of this in maybe a few days or a few weeks. But now sitting on the 7th month, I think we are at such a large pause in our life that the whole way of being is now into a shift mode. If you can go to the next slide, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so here I have just depicted that we started with work from home, where in the lockdown number 1, where our Prime Minister said that we need to be at home. And so work from home was good. It was a good change. You don't have to rush, like already Smarika has said, that you don't have to rush. You don't have to put your, attendance register as such. And you don't have to wake up that early. So life was cool. Work from home in the lockdown period, the first lockdown period. period. That got over, we came to lockdown 2. In lockdown 2, well, you are working for the office and you're working for the home also. Means you were part of the family and you were involved in the family and whatever was going on, and there was no way that you could get out of that. So everybody had things to do beyond the office work that we had. So typically that work at home became like every day became a working day. All the days were like Monday. I never saw Sunday. You could get into a chat at night. You could reply to mails in night. So it became so 24-hour-ish, after the second and the third lockdown. I forget how many lockdowns we had, but the second and third. And by the time we came out of this fourth lockdown, I feel that from work at home and work from home, we are now work from anywhere. So office does not have a location as such, I feel now. We have all accepted to that fact. The last slide, if you can please share.
Yes, sir.
So I'll just work on these few points. Number one is how, see, like earlier it was said that if I'm in design, if I'm in some other job, then it's fine. I can keep on designing. I can do my IT stuff. I can do my account stuff. I can do my audit. I can do a lot of things. But as a salesperson, I've been a salesperson most of my life and still am. And we are people who like to kick off in the morning and we have no closing time. And our whole objective is to ensure that revenue goes up and, we are full of activity. There is nothing like a salesman sitting in some place and trying to do something, off the desk. So, see, we are about 1,000-man force as Ceasefire is concerned, but I'll talk more about my division. When we started, we had about 125 people in my division, and all of them were in sales. And the biggest challenge that I started initially, like I said, first lockdown was fine. Everybody was very happy. But the second lockdown, that's where the challenge started, because the first lockdown came in a month of March, which is very, very crucial for companies as well as all salespeople. And lot of doubts, lot of thoughts, and very, very challenging was to how to keep the 125 people engaged when all the markets are closed, when you cannot get out of your house and you cannot go and meet customers. So that was a very large challenge, or a big challenge that we had when we were in the lockdown period. See, a salesman is basically motivated by growth, by incentives, by sales, by breaking new and new orders, by creating strategies, by creating niches. So all that typically went off. The only way we could find a way was that we just decided that we'll keep on talking to our customers. We'll keep on having the same working style like we had pre-COVID. And that's how we thought we will go across, and yes, we were already online as a company, so that was not very difficult. So we started getting online meetings with customers. So we started to push that. Just for the engagement, we started into product management or a product training. We started doing all that. So this actually was one very challenging time, how to keep 125 people engaged without a revenue and keeping their spirits high. That's one very big aspect which I learned, and I'm sure my team also learned during that time. The second thing that we had was the client. The client who gives the revenue is most important. And we thought, as salespeople, that if we are not able to retain the client, or we are not able to hold on to the client, so we really don't know when we will catch on to them. And so we started, like I said, engaging with clients. We started with the PR, a nice message, a nice mail, a nice voice note, and we started connecting with the clients. And the fun part here is that the client also had time, because he was not running anywhere. He was also happy to get into more details of products, more new products he wanted to learn. So this was actually an opportunity which we caught on, because most clients were at home and they were ready to talk to us, and they were ready to look at once things opened up. So that was what we tried to do with the clients, and that was our existing, and we actually got into a lot of new clients because we had the time, since we work on a database, which was not happening pre-COVID due to time constraints or mindset, whichever it may be. Then the third major challenge which we had was shifting from the office to the home. We are an online company, right? From logging in the order to recruiting, to campus, to joining, to training, to meeting. We are all online. So actually, we should not have this challenge, but we had a major challenge because of various reasons. One is, you actually had to train the guy that you're not in office anymore, you're at home, and there are some netiquettes which you need to follow from home. You see a lot of funny memes, people coming on the screen at the wrong time, and family members coming in the screen at the wrong time, in the wrong attire. And all that happened initially, and then we had a lot of training on the netiquettes and how one should manage yourself at home. In reality, it was not it was not smooth at all, because infrastructure is a major issue. People are staying where sometimes there are 3-4 people at the same place. Everybody has something online going on. There's a connectivity issue. There is a background issue, and then a discipline issue. A lot of challenges which we had as far as where we had to actually counsel and train the guy, right from discipline to how does he do his work, things like that. That is something which happened. Revenue loss. This is one big one. For 3 months, everybody knows April, May, June, more or less, being with a nil revenue, zero revenue. Let us say if our organization does about 16 crores every month, so we did zero. And holding on to such a large team with the same cost, all these were very demanding and asking questions on survival. And I think like other MSMEs like us, they had the same issues. And yes, we had no other option, but we had to get a cut into the remunerations of all levels. But we did not stop at the cut, but we gave a carrot where if a salesperson, that is the junior and the middle, if they get in the business, then we ensured that he got the full remuneration. So we tried that, and that has succeeded a lot in our organization. I think 70-80% of the junior and the middle staff are working on full remuneration, and there are some who are working on -20 or something like that. But let me tell you, these are all decisions which we take when we do this, when we communicate to the team, when we have a discussion with the team. You are aware of the team, you are aware of his background, his family, his money situation. There are a lot of emotions which come in there, but the good part is that we were able to sail through all that. Out of all this gloom that we had, there were some few cheers, I feel. Number one is with a lot of supervision, which we had earlier, coming to the office in the morning, reporting and meetings and stuff. And now there is no meetings as such, excepting you have a Google Meet or a huddle meet in the morning on Google, and your manager cannot reach you, and you're all alone. You may be new in the organization or you may be old in the organization. So good part is that a lot of immature, which we thought are immature people, suddenly started to become mature. It started to taking decisions on how to crack a client, how to create a strategy, how to get into niches where earlier he would have not done without any supervision. That was one big cheer. Second cheer is in terms of the acceptance of the team. The team accepted. They became more responsible. They became more accountable, and they understood the situation, which was actually very surprising to me, because I was always trying to push that when will these guys learn in many of my meetings. But that was a great cheer that we had. So a lot of things came out well, and now I think we are more or less 50% out. With the clients, and clients have also opened up. But the only concluding point I would like to put across is to whoever is watching, especially the young generation or the students, or who are just going to get into the assignment, is I feel in some way you are very, very fortunate that you have actually seen this in live, as an experience, and it will give you a lot of knowledge in your future life, where you will be able to manage such type of pauses which might come in your life. I think the only way forward for everyone, including the government, institutions, the companies, is that we need to continuously keep on upskilling. There's no stoppage on that. We need to continuously get into upgrade mode, whether it is self or it is an organization, or whether it is a tech or it's the processes or it's the systems. So I think that is what I would like to share and summarize. So thank you so much for listening on to me.
Thank you, sir. Well, you gave a very practical insight into the topic, and we could, as a participant, also I could relate it to you, because in the first lockdown, I remember it was all fun and frolic and everything, and after a certain period of time, it was not just work from home, but work from home for home. So our extended responsibilities and all of those things had increased. So you've covered all the challenges, and you've also given these few of the solutions, and we should all keep our spirits high through the tough times. Thank you, sir. Now, moving forward, I would request Sanjay sir to please share his views and opinions regarding the topic.
Well, thank you, Smaraki. I really do not know whether there's anything left to speak after Dilip Wadhwani spoke about the entire gamut of challenges and opportunities that stare at us around the work from home, the new normal. I have some random thoughts that I will share, and I don't know how many of you will resonate with my thoughts, but I would still feel that I would express these thoughts. They're not around much in terms of the professional workplace as such, because while it may seem to be the new normal for a section of the professional workforce, my hunch is that this is just a temporary normal. Like Dilip Wadhwani said, it's a pause. It might have been a long pause or a longer pause. It's still not a full stop. It's still not a change. That's my hunch. There are quite a lot of occupations other than the IT jobs that cannot be executed from home. Manufacturing, for example. how do you expect the workforce to be working from home? So work from home probably is not the new normal for the entire workforce. It could be for some sectors. And man is a social animal by nature. The large majority of humankind thrives on social relationships that are built at the workplace or elsewhere. And humankind by nature is extremely resilient, and they will bounce back at some point of time or the other. What's going to happen, however, is that certain social norms will undergo some alteration. This happens whenever there is a disruption caused by an external force. The biggest disruption that has happened during our lifetime has been brought about by technology. Social behavior has gone through a drastic change because of the technology revolution. The way we communicate, the rules of communication changes. For example, if you go back 30 years in time, I'm 52 now, so probably when I was like 20, in my 20s, how would we communicate or interact with people? There were no phones. So socialization would happen very spontaneously. You just drop by at a friend's place. You don't have to take a permission by calling him up and saying, hey, I want to meet you, can I come over? Now, from that behavior to this behavior, today, people do not even like to entertain you if you have not given them a heads up before you drop by. So that's a change in social behavior, right? So, and old-timers like probably, including me, would lament the fact that the whole art of letter writing is all gone. It's all WhatsApp, it's all email, it's hi, hello. There are no dear and thanking you, yours faithfully, and so on and so forth. So social visits initially never warranted a permission also. Similarly, the pandemic now has caused a disruption. And let's be accepting the fact that it has disrupted a whole lot of us, and it will have an impact in our social behavior. Some for good, some for not so good. Nowadays, people don't want to call you over to have a cup of coffee at their home, right? They would simply avoid. So during this pandemic, what has happened is the earlier disruption that technology has brought, it has become a boon. While technology has enabled a lot of us to be able to work from home, my point is it is still not all pervasive. Technology is not available and affordable for all. For us, it's comfortable to think that, okay, sitting at home, we are working, our children are studying in schools, online. Think about the laundry wala whose daughter goes to high school. Does he have the wherewithal to have a broadband and a computer to support her daughter's education, his daughter's education now? What's going to happen? So obviously, this is not going to be the new normal unless you make technology all pervasive, make it available to all sections of society at a cost that they can afford to pay for. So the new normal for me has not yet evolved. It is still evolving. We are seeing the challenges now. We are looking at few things that are probably changing for the good. A lot of things are still in progress. So let's wait to see the impact of this pandemic and how it impacts our social behavior and how it impacts our economic behavior. As I said, the human race is a resilient race. It will always bounce back. Like Dilip Wadhwani said, Bombay, he's been a Bombayite all through, and he has seen the floods there. He has seen the Bombay blast. People bounce back in like 2-3 days. Or let's say a week from thence. This is a long pause. I agree with him. I concur with him. And I tend to believe that the new normal is yet to evolve. This is just a temporary phase that we are going through, and let's not call it the new normal. In the words of Ghalib, I will just summarize how the humankind has been always resilient. रंज से खुगर हुआ इंसान तो मिट जाता है रंज, मुश्किलें मुझ पर पड़ी इतनी कि आसान हो गए. So when you get used to setbacks and sorrows in life, then the sorrows tend to disappear. That's the attitude of resilience. So with that note, I will stop here and would invite Smaraki to take over. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. You've touched upon the major part of work from home, which is basically, social behavior, social norms, the informal communication system that has prevailed now. And more so, you talked about resonating with, and you concentrated on the thing called the technology is not all pervasive. Of course, I can take a little forward from here. I just, while, doing my homework, I read an article recently published by TOI, which also mentioned the same, which said that countries' level of economic development and people's access to the internet, it basically determines the feasibility of work from home. And while all the middle to low income group countries are not ready for work from home, even the Indian workers seem to be very disadvantaged, which you basically talked about. And so taking the positive note from your talk, let's just hope that the new normal is yet to evolve. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And now I would request Mr. Susin to please share his thoughts on the topic.
Thank you, Smaraki. Honestly, I am now short of words after listening to both the esteemed speakers. Because both of them have touched upon the different aspects, the different views of working from home. I would just like to bring around few points from my personal experience. What work from home means from an employee perspective. Okay, we would have heard, we would have read a lot of articles on how companies are enabling work from home. How are the employers encouraging work from home, or rather I should say are compelled to facilitate work from home for the employees? And this pandemic has brought in a drastic change, both from an employer as well as an employee perspective of how they see the work culture. Now the question remains, is work from home a new concept? No, the work from home concept already existed, but we as employees or employers did not give the requisite focus on this. Why? Because we never felt the need for it. And as human beings, unless and until you are compelled to do something for a change, you don't accept changes so easily. So change is always, though we know that the only thing constant is change, but we don't accept it as easy. And hence, this work from home concept was there from the beginning, but the pandemic showed the real truth, that it has now become from a concept into a practice. We have started practicing it. So if I talk about an employee, how the employee will be able to manage this work from home? What are the challenges me as an employee or any other employee or our friends out here, those who have been working, what challenges we could have faced? So there are a couple of points I would like to highlight. Work from home is actually a mindset. You need to have the right mindset when you switch from working from your office desk, moving into your room or your bedroom or your study room. So that mindset has to be created first. Now, how you create the mindset is not only you as an individual, but then there are other factors like your family members. So you need to have the right support from your family members if you are moving into the work from home, culture. So for example, if I work from office, who are my colleagues who are sitting around my desk? How is the office boy treating me? How is the AC working? Whether the sunlight is directly on my face. So there are so many, small and big factors that decide the way I work, the productivity that I give. Similar fashion, When I work from home, then there are certain other set of factors which I mentioned, like how the family is behaving, what is your schedule, how are you managing your schedule, do you have the right kind of an atmosphere, the right kind of time to sit at home and do your work. So these kind of challenges is what employees are typically facing. And as Mr. Wadhwani has pointed out, the productivity of an employee becomes a challenge in some point of time when they're working from home. Why? Because as per a study, a human being is focused for 20 minutes. Every 20 minutes, his focus changes. Now, if I am at work from home and I'm working at home, this 20 minutes reduces to 10 minutes because of the other distractions around. And the distractions are the ones which directly concern me. In office, even though there are distractions, they are not directly concerned. If two colleagues are chatting in office, it does not concern me, so my distraction amount is less. But at home, if my kid is crying or if there is a doorbell ringing, what happens? The distraction is directly concerning me, so the focus reduces. So this is one of also the major challenge of productivity which employers think about before actually trying to enable this work from home for their organization, because for them the productivity decreases. Now there needs to be that comfort factor as an individual or as a team that our productivity for a specific time can be achieved if we have a proper planning and a schedule. And we take breaks in between, and we know what is the right point for taking a break and then coming back and again focusing on the work. So that is one thing I wanted to discuss and highlight here, that the challenge which employees will face. Now, as highlighted earlier, the technology and infrastructure. I completely agree. Technology and infrastructure is not available, affordable, and feasible in all three aspects everywhere, especially in India, in remote places. So that also becomes a challenge. Now, I don't want to restrict this discussion only for an employee. Work from home, even the kids now are doing schooling and they're studying from home. On the contrary, when the organization is focusing on employees to increase the productivity, as parents, we realize the productivity of our kids when they go to school is more. So that is the disadvantage. So working from home has its own pros and cons. It depends who is the target customer or the target recipient of it. As an employee, I may be happy that I will not pick up the keys, I will not take a taxi, or I don't have to rush through the traffic. But as a kid and as a parent, to me, I become concerned when my kids sit and have a longer screen time and they do their study over the laptop or over the iPad, and then they miss out that social interaction which was discussed earlier, which is very important in their growing stage. So I brought into the discussion both the aspects of me switching over the role as an employee, as an employer, or as a parent. So it is not only the technology or the concept which has been now in practice, which is addressing only the employees, or it is giving us some benefits. It also comes with its disadvantages. And there are, lot of articles, lot of discussions, lot of publishes in the social media, lot of that how and what kind of impact it can bring to an individual and to an organization. And let's all accept the fact that this work from home has now come into a practice and it is going to stay. Companies like TCS, the IT companies majorly, who can have the feasibility of work from home, are now going to put it into a practice. That not only benefits the employer, it also benefits the employee, as well as brings down the cost and the pressure on the environment. Now, as it was highlighted earlier also, that there are certain industries who cannot afford, or it is not feasible. Rather, I should say it is not feasible for them to work from home. So those industries will again thrive back. So work from home will be a parallel concept, a parallel practice, but working from office is going to stay. So with that, I would like to end my viewpoint on this particular concept of work from home. And before ending, I would just like to summarize that work from home has now moved from a concept into a practice, but it is not the only practice which is going to stay. It will continue as a parallel practice, like we run parallel economies, there are parallel superpowers, and same way it is going to run parallelly to the traditional working from office. And it is only the individual's perspectives which will decide whether it is advantageous or disadvantageous. And we as human beings know how to thrive back, as Mr. Ratha has mentioned earlier, and we will thrive back, and we will create the balance between both, and which is very important to create the balance. Thank you, Maraki. And
Thank you, Mr. Kushil. Well, you've given a very interesting perspective from the sides of the employees and sharing your ideas regarding the work culture also. As explained by you, that you have very well explained the shift from the concept of work from home to the practice now. Thank you very much. Now we will move forward and take few questions from the participants through the chat box. I can see few questions here. The first question is from Mr. Jyoti Ranjan Mahanti. He is asking how to ensure employees, particularly those with personality trait B, the laid back type, with same degree of seriousness and inefficiency working from home. Dilip sir, would you like to take, or Sanjay sir, whosoever?
Yeah, whoever.
Yeah,
Sanjay,
I can give my perspective over here.
Please, sir.
So as I mentioned that the rules of communication change when a disruption happens. So typically during this time when we are working from home, the frequency of communication has to increase. So how we have addressed this issue in our organization is that we have regular stand-up meetings. We have a complete cycle of stand-up meetings that happen every day. And then there is a retro meeting that happens every Friday to basically check in terms of how the week went by. So there is a lot of more, I would say, accountability that has come into this equation now, work from home. So that is one way that you can probably address the issue about productivity. Essentially, we are talking about productivity here, right? We are not pointing out people with personality trait B, laid back types. All of us have some distractions while working at home, working from home. While we are working from home, our spouses are also working from home. Our kids are also joining classes from home. So your entire family is out there. There could be older parents that you are taking care of. There could be n number of distractions. So we should be able to have that mindfulness of the fact that there could be distractions, and hence to be a little more humane in that way for our teammates and for our employees. It is not that, oh, so we are paying you for 9 hours a day for 22 days a month. You have to. Now, if that is the approach that we are going to take for work from home, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. We have to be mindful of the fact that people will have distractions. They will have additional responsibilities while they're working from home. And you'll have to be a little lenient towards that as well. And having said that, increase communication. Yeah.
Right, sir. Another question here is from Dr. Sabbir Sachirat. He's asking that will the new work culture reduce our social quotient further?
This is for whom? This question is for whom?
So if you are interested, you can take it, please.
No.
They have
Mr.
not.
Sanjay, you can go ahead. No.
Yeah, I would probably answer this in the affirmative. When television came to our lives, right, and televisions preceded telephones, by the way, we were all glued to our television sets. Sunday evening, Doordarshan, movie time, or Wednesday, Chitrahar. We would not want to entertain guests or friends at that point of time to come to our place and, you know, take away our television time. Social behavior changed at that point of time. Then the telephones came, and I told you how social behavior changed with the telephones. Technology. Now, do you find 3 kids with the smartphones chatting away with some other friends, but they are together. It's a change in social behavior. Now with work from home, where if this becomes the new normal and it continues as such, then obviously the social quotient is going to go down further, because you don't have the opportunity to socialize, which you had earlier when you used to socialize at the workplace. Yes, I probably agree with, or rather, to answer that question, I think I'll answer this question in the affirmative. It will reduce our social quotient further. I think so. Unless someone else has a completely different argument or thought process.
Okay, sir.
I just add on to that, Smarika,
Please,
if
Please, sir.
actually, since we are in the corporate and especially in the sales, so I had a very different approach, which was never at home. So we were never at home, and we never knew what happened at home, and how our kids grew up, and how our kids were chatting, and what friends they have, and the long lost or lost relatives and friends. They were all there somewhere hidden in Facebook and Insta and somewhere. And once this time came on hand, you will not believe it, the amount of interaction that has increased, right from a Zoom funeral to a Zoom birthday to a Zoom anniversary, and everybody comes because everybody is at home. So I feel this is amazing that this pause has actually brought us so much together, and we have actually had a time to get back into our lives and actually see that, oh, I have a family, and I have this kid, and I have this mother, and I have this wife, and what happens at home. So just thought I'll add this part to it. Thanks.
Right, sir. There's another question that I can see here from Mr. Aniban Biswas. He's asking that the pre-COVID, we generally had office timings, and now that we have the privilege to work from home, so we need to work all the time for the organization. And he's asking that isn't it creating a kind of a work-life balance discrepancy?
Marika, I would like to take this. Yeah, because maybe I can give a better perspective here, and then Mr. Dilip and Mr. Atha can add to it.
Please.
Yes, the work from home, the expectation now is that if an organization has enabled work from home, they will expect you to be available 24/7. They say that we have provided you the technology, we have provided you the infrastructure, and you are not at office. So you need to answer to our emails, you need to attend the calls, which is over Zoom or MS Team, whatever. And that calls can then be scheduled, late at night at 9 p.m. And that has literally happened to me as well. That you are at home. So whether it is a weekend or a working day, you are at home. So there is no difference between you coming to office or you not working. So those arguments were given. But yes, it will impact your work-life balance unless you, as if you are a manager having a team, or as an individual contributor to the organization, you need to set out your agenda. You need to set out and prioritize your activities for the day. And I would request everyone who is currently working from home, the young students here who are going into the corporate world very soon, that whether it is work from home or work for office, create your daily agenda, set your priorities, and ensure you complete them on time, and take a break when it is needed the most. In that way, for example, a small example I'd like to give, a good thing. A couple of months back, when I was in UAE, everything was locked down and we were working from home, maybe in the month of May, June. That time, I know that I will have to balance. If I go to the office, I come back at 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. and then the entire time is for my family on a normal day. But now I can expect some calls. So whenever you see those gaps or breaks in your agenda and schedule, ensure you are with your kid. Ensure that you are asking your wife, do you need some grocery? May I help you in cooking? So what happens then is that work-life balance gets adjusted. Of course, you cannot go and tell your employer that don't call me at 9 p.m. That is not the practice, because at the end of the day, you will have to see and respond to your manager's call. Unless your manager is sensible enough to tell you that, okay, it's 9 p.m. I should not invite for a meeting, or it is not very urgent and it can wait for tomorrow. So there are some workarounds which I will suggest how to do this work balance, but impact will be there and we need to manage that impact. And we have been doing it, and I'm sure everyone will do it better as and when this work from home gets into a normal practice. That's my thought of this question.
Thank you, Mr. Sushil. There's another question here from Ms. Shivangi Patnaik. She's asking that the mass home working experiment in the middle of a pandemic, it presented some of the most challenging circumstances which were possible. Yet coming out, the other side of it, there's likely to be considerable resistance to simply re-adopting the old ways of working. How do we take that? What's your take on that?
Yes, there will be some kind of resistance, but as we pointed out earlier, not in all industries, because there are industries which cannot thrive on work from home. So maybe that is why it is specifically to those services or IT services, IT companies, where they can thrive on this work from home. And they realize that coming back to the normal from office for every employee might be a challenging, or there will be resistance. And why? If you see now, they all are planning or are in the way of moving into a normal culture for work from home, either through alternate days or 2 days a week or alternate teams, ensuring that that balance is there. But coming back again to the first point which was mentioned, that all industries cannot work from home. There are industries, there are specific situations where one need to go back to that office building or to your production department or to the industry where it is set up in order to ensure your productivity is continued. So the way employers will handle it, I expect will be in a balanced way, where depending on the need or the criticality of the work and the nature of the work, more importantly, the nature of the work, they may ask, or we may have to go back to our office building or to the office work and not continue with work from home always.
Right. There's a specific question from Miss Reela Sahu to Dilip sir. She's asking that she's saying that she's working under the CSR project of ICICI Foundation, and her job is to train the candidates and also place them in different companies. So she anyway faced little difficulty before the pandemic to bring in some kind of opportunities for the female candidates. But nowadays the scenario is totally different. So she's asking that how can she create more opportunities for female candidates in such challenging situation?
I don't know. I think there should not be any challenge so when she's into a CSR project, so she is working with a particular type of female people, or how is it? I mean.
So she's working for a CSR project of ICICI Foundation, and her job is to train the candidates and place them in different companies. Basically, the placement thing.
Oh, okay, okay. So, okay. See, I think whether it is pre-COVID or post-COVID, I don't think there should be any problem in sort of placing, like you said, female candidates. The only thing I feel that currently, for the next few months, as all are just trying to reorganize and reconcile and trying to, work for the future as to how we are going to work in the near future. Maybe the current time is not a very great time for placement or placing anybody as such. But I think come 2021 and things will open up because I am aware that pandemics will be there, but I think now we have come into an acceptance road. As far as the female is concerned, I think if the work from home culture becomes a new normal and is accepted by the large industry, then I think that will be a big boon to the female candidate, because then the amount of travel or going out late or going early or any such other interactions can be avoided. So I may have not been able to answer the full question what she asked, but to my knowledge, as far as placement is concerned, I think you need to wait for a few more months. I would request Mr. Ratha if you can add on, because you are the expert on this.
Sorry. I have a feeling that this question revolves around the National Skills Development Corporation initiative of making girls skillful in some vocation and placing them with companies. If my assumption is true, then I do see a lot of girls these days now at the petrol bunks. Earlier, it was all male dominated. Now, you go to any of these IOC petrol filling pumps, you will find the girls there filling petrol and diesel. And there are many such vocations where you, under the National Skills Development Corporation, you take up an initiative, and these are like some of these CSR activities of large corporations like ICICI and others, where they go and train people at the rural areas, and then they place them in cities and nearby towns. If the question revolves around that, then yes, I think so. She's saying that even before the pandemic situation, she was finding it a little difficult, and now with the pandemic, it has become even worse. So I wouldn't know how to resolve this, but maybe look at vocations which are more receptive for the girls, and try and train them the skills for those vocations, and look for companies that would hire them. Maybe do some things differently than what she's doing at this point of time. I don't know whether I've been able to answer Reela as well, but I made an assumption and I answered that.
Okay, sir. So before concluding, we'll take one last question and I'll put forward it to Mr. Sushim. There was an article in Times of India which said that with banks adopting the work from home model, there is a possibility that some jobs could go the Uber way, with the employees deciding which hours of the day they will plug in. Please comment on that.
Can you repeat the question?
So the question is, with banks adopting the work... Mr. Sushim, am I audible?
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes. Did you hear the question? Should I repeat it again?
No, I have heard the question. So banks moving to work from home typically what is going to stay is the branch banking. So the branch banking or the customer service, the front desk officers, those are some of the activities which cannot move work from home. Now, banks have always moved ahead, and there is always a revolution in the banking and financial services industry for fintech. So that concept of fintech has already been there. So now the work from home is a byproduct of that fintech. When people have moved into fintech now, like the Paytm in India or the wallets that has come up, people physically don't go to the branches. They say 80% of the banking services can now be with technology, with your mobile phone or with your tablet, sitting at home. So moving the banking services into a remote function is not a byproduct of the work from home. It is the other way around. Work from home takes its advantage from that concept of fintech, which has already been existing. And banks have already started their transition into the fintech area. So these new wallets like Uber and the Paytm, they are also a byproduct of that digital transformation that the banks and the financial services have undertaken. Now with that, the work from home becomes all the more easy and relevant. So I would say that it is not work from home which will impact the banks, because it is the other way around. It is the fintech and the digital transformation of the banks which have facilitated work from home for the banking industry or the financial service industry. If I have answered the question.
Yeah, thank you. Now that we have certain time constraints, we won't be able to take any more questions. So I'll just take a few minutes to share my takeaway from the session. So the work from home, job, it forced, this particular force just got a very big push from the current global coronavirus pandemic. But even before the COVID-19 actually became a factor, increasing number of people have been saying goodbye to their onerous commute to work. And thanks to the ever evolving technologies like Skype and FaceTime and all of those things, not to mention the texting and the email, it's no longer necessary to be in office for the full time, to be effectively working. So working from home, it can be very exciting and empowering, and sometimes profitable also, provided you are realistic about the pros and cons. So whether a freelancer, a company, part-time or a full-time employee who just doesn't hit the office on certain days, it's a way to escape the daily grind. But then there are added responsibilities that come with the freedom, and not to mention the planning, foresight, the self-discipline and the focus also. And oh yes, the hours of extended working hours, uninterrupted hard work. So though the idea of being our own bosses and setting up our own hours of work and operating within our own four walls has merits and definite benefits, it comes to drawbacks as well, and both for the self-employed and the telecommuting employees. So when it's happening in the shadow of a national health emergency, it obviously adds an extra layer of discomfort and uncertainty. So though there are both advantages and disadvantages with this work from home concept, I think that we have to make peace with it, considering it as the new normal, which is here to stay for a certain period of time at least. So with these few words as takeaway, I would like to thank all our esteemed panel members for accepting our invitation and for sharing their valuable insights and wisdom on a topic which is so important in such difficult and trying times. I also thank all the participants for their support. Finally, I would also like to thank my IT team for all the support and cooperation. The feedback link has been shared in the chat box. Thanks again for joining us today. I wish you good health, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Smaraki, and
Thank you.
thank you,
Thank you.
ASBM,
Thank you.
for
Thank you,
organizing
Smaraki.
this.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.